Kia ora, welcome and hello to the route revealing for the 2021 North Island 800 and the North Island 1600 distance rides. Many thanks to you for your interest in joining our rides. It's this support that keeps the organising group developing new rides with new roads and providing the annual October ride weekend at Turangi. You know that distance riders like to socialise with other distance riders. Many strong friendships have grown amongst people who have met at our events and shared their experiences and made opportunities to ride together on other distance riding events. There's also a swelling interest amongst the hardcore who get their rides certified by the American Iron Butt Association. Chris Wiltshire will talk more about that shortly. Thanks to COVID-19 restrictions on movement, the organising group has made some changes to how registered riders can complete this year's rides. These changes have also changed how we reveal the routes for the rides and provide riders with the information they need that's contained in the rider notes that we prepare and distribute each year. Please note that there is a downloadable GPX file available on the Distance Riders website for those of you who use GPS navigation, as well as a track map. And you can also find a downloadable version of the rider notes on that site as well. The guts of the changes is providing an opportunity for those able to get to Turangi for ride weekend to complete the ride in person. For those riders trapped in Auckland and also those who are keen to limit their COVID-19 risk profile, this year we have provided a virtual ride option. In-person riders will complete their ride on the weekend as we have done in the past. There are restrictions on numbers, movement and mingling at the holiday park, including scanning QR codes, wearing masks and social distancing. Other than that, riders still need to sign in, uplift their bits and pieces, get their bikes scrutinised and depart at the right time for their ride on Saturday. Virtual riders have 12 months from ride weekend to complete their rides. They must follow the required route and supply checkpoint and start and finish evidence to comply with their ride's requirements. All virtual riders have been given those compliance details and must follow those to the letter to get their ride approved. In a moment, Long John Silver will reveal the dastardly details for this year's rides. Hopefully his reputation as a master of motorcycling pleasure and pain will be enhanced for another year. Riders with questions about this year's rides can either talk with the Turangi crew after this briefing or send an email to distanceriders@gmail.com. We can set up online chat encounters if needed, as those can be easier to use than typing emails. Distance riders have been providing these rides for a few years now. This is our 6th North Island 800, 8th North Island 1600, and 3rd double badger. A lot of organisations needed to make these rides possible, particularly this year. Our rides are run by distance riders for distance riders. We have a dedicated core of volunteers who provide the services needed to deliver New Zealand's best distance rides. Thanks to each and all of you. Your stars and much appreciated. Here's Chris Wiltshire to provide some information about the Iron Butt Association. He'll be followed by the legendary Long John Silver to reveal this year's rides.
Hi, I'm Chris Wiltshire, and for the past few years I've been involved with the Iron Butt Association's group overseas. We've been helping their worldwide group with things like ride verifications, their premier membership group services, the association's ride database, certificate and ride development work. And through this, we've established a reasonable presence for New Zealand within the IBA group worldwide. A fair amount of this has been achieved over the past 12 months. We now have our own country-specific set of New Zealand rides listed on the worldwide website. These include 4 special New Zealand-only certificates. The first one's the Straight Jacket, which is a 1,600 kilometre in 24-hour ride, which incorporates both islands and the ferry in the middle of it. Then we've got the Ride Around the Top and Bottom Paddock rides. These are 2 3,000+ kilometre rides which go around the extremities of each island and span 48 hours or more each. An award certificate when both of these paddock rides have been completed is available, called Checking the Boundary Fences. These are difficult elite level rides which require some precision planning and careful execution. The paddock rides are multi-day rides which should incorporate planned rest stops and have some significant planning challenges relating to moving through some of the major cities, sometimes more than once. So far, we've had just one person manage the straitjacket ride, 10 successful paddock rides, and 4 people have completed the Checking the Boundary Fences award challenge. These rides are potentially something to aim towards and work up to. It's worth noting that we've had 4 paddock ride attempts where, for a range of reasons, the rider has failed to finish. At one point, we were running only a 50% success rate at attempts on these rides. Failed attempts of these rides are a reflection on riders often sensibly deciding to pull the pin on their attempt partway through. This is a credit to those riders, showing good decision-making throughout. Good planning and sensible execution plays such a major part in succeeding to complete these challenges, from personal prep, bike prep, being well rested before you start, planning rest and sleep breaks, choosing the right time of year to attempt them, and being flexible with your riding dates around weather. Of course, that's not the end of the Ironbutt offering for New Zealand riders. We currently have 4 riders this year actively chasing their Miley to Silver award, which is achieved by either riding 12 rides in 12 consecutive months or by riding 5 rides in 12 months, 2 of which need to be extreme, gold or insanity level rides. 2 of those riders have managed to obtain their silver level status already this year, both Ross Calder and Julian Boyd, with 2 more remaining, myself and Andrew Spooner. Mr. Spooner gets an honourable mention since he's the only one of the 4 of us doing it through the 12 consecutive monthly rides option, and he's now completed 8 of his 12 rides. The base level Ironbutt ride is the 1,000 miler. It's 1,609 kilometers or more within 24 hours. This is known as a saddle sore ride. You can get that level of certification off the back of completing the New Zealand Distance Riders North Island 1600 ride. But IBA rides can be planned and ridden at any time throughout the year. You don't need to wait for an organised event. You can plan your own ride, starting and ending wherever you like. You can ride it solo, or you can ride it with a group of friends. For those looking for inspiration in something a little different, there are a series of rides such as the 4 Seasons rides, which fall on the equinox and solstice days of each year. When you get all 4 of them, you qualify for a 4 Seasons award. These are hard because you have fixed dates where you must complete your ride, regardless of the day or week or weather conditions. We've currently got Alan Doak and Ross Calder and Julian Boyd working through their 4 Seasons rides. A year or so ago, myself and my wife Stella completed that series as a 2-up partnership to become the first 2-up finishers of the 4 Seasons award worldwide. We've also got special rides and certificates like the Anzac Day ride, one which must either start or finish at a dawn parade, and also needs to spell out through places visited ANZAC. In short, there's a lot which the IBA rides offer to our long distance riding community throughout the year, and it's often what fills in the gaps between the organised events, and it's what keeps the New Zealand Distance Riders Facebook group active, with mad rides being shared using Spotwalla tracks. Everyone is welcome to get involved, so if this sounds interesting, then often the best place to start is by asking a question or joining in with the discussion on the New Zealand Riders Facebook group. Or you're welcome to drop us an email through the organiser's email address to distanceriders@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. I'd like to wish you all the best for your New Zealand Distance Riders North Island rides, whether you're in person or participating in our virtual event. Thanks also for your engagement and participation through the entry and registration processes. This year was, again, a lot more complex than most years should be, with our ever-evolving and changing plans for this year's event. I hope it works out for you and look forward to being on the receiving end of those virtual ride submissions. Good luck, guys. Have fun.
Greetings, folks, and welcome to the route release for the 2021 North Island 1600. This is version 3, and if we're using this version, it's because we've had to change to avoid any COVID hotspots. If that's the case, you'll probably be quite thankful, because It brings us back to a normal type 1600 route rather than the delights that I had planned. Before we start though, I'd like to comment on using the mapping software. When I'm doing routing and through the software, I normally have it set to shortest time, but local knowledge counts for a lot. And when you connect the checkpoints on these rides, quite often you'll get different routes to what we're prescribing. A good example of this is Turangi to Wakamaru. Now, State Highway 1 has an abundance of 80k zones, a proliferation of double yellows, and on a Saturday, there'll be many drivers that are quite happy to sit at 20k under the limit. Our experience and local knowledge means that we know it's quicker on the Western Lake. And so we make the route to go that way, which may require, shaping the route. Also, we'll pick what we would call memorable roads, which after doing them, when you're riding through an area, you might think, oh, I'll go that way because it was quite nice. So just keep this in mind when you're doing your routing. And the other thing that brings me to is this year we've changed and we are supplying a GPX file and a Google Maps file. These have a track which gives you the prescribed route, and it outlines all the checkpoints, and on the 1600 case it also highlights the 24-hour fuel options. Now looking at our route on the screen, the first half of the route is down through Route 52 and heads south and goes in a clockwise direction. We then come back up and the second part is the upper loop, and that is done anti-clockwise. All right, so getting into the route, it wouldn't be much fun getting across to Route 52 unless we took the Gentle Annie. And so leg 1 goes down State Highway 1 through Waiouru, hooks off on Spooners Hill Road onto the Gentle Annie, and the first checkpoint is the Springvale Suspension Bridge, which is the old disused bridge across the Rangitikei River. We've used this several times before. Leg 2, we continue across the Gentle Annie to Omahu, make our way onto State Highway 50, 50A, and get down on State Highway 2 to Waipawa and then Waipak. And from Waipak, we head straight forward, and checkpoint 2 is at Taumata Whakatangihana Kuauau o Tamatea Turipukaka Piki Maunga Oronoku Pokai Whenua ki Tanatahu. For those that don't know, that's the, and Eugene will probably tell you otherwise, but it's the place where Tamatea lost his hat, had a cry, and he scraped his knees as he scrambled down the hill after his hat. And the reason he lost his hat is because the wind just keeps on blowing. But I digress. Checkpoint 3, we continue down Route 52. The first part down to Wimbledon is lovely, sweepy roads you can take at cruising speed. You've got to be careful going across from Wimbledon towards Weber, because that road is renowned for slumping and grit. And at this particular time, there's roadworks where they're trying to get rid of the slumping. So it's grit and more grit and rough grit. Take care. We turn left at the junction and head down through Pongaroa, and turn left at the Alfredton School. Now, just south of Pongaroa, you do need to watch, there's some roadworks there as well. From Alfredton School, the checkpoint is at the junction of Route 52 and Ditton Road. And this has been placed there just to ensure you stay on Route 52 and don't try to sneak off to State Highway 2. The checkpoint photo, it's just a big Coopworth sign which relates to the local farm, and it's nailed to a tree, but it's fairly obvious. Leg 4. This takes us into Falkners, which is the southernmost point of the route. So we continue on Route 52 down through Te Oriori and turn right to head into Masterton. And Falkners Mobile is at the northern end of town by State Highway 2. So we need to take a photo there. You'll probably need fuel. And then leg 5, we're going to head north. So we get on State Highway 2 and take it up via Eketahuna, and then we turn left on Tutaikara Road and go through Mangamairi to get to the track. We take the track over to by Palmerston North to a Kotari. We turn right on Fitzherbert East Road, and the next checkpoint is about 1 kilometre down the road at a Kotari school, and it's off to the left. Leg 6, continue on the Fitzherbert East Road to State Highway 3, turn left and cross the bridge, and then turn right to go into Ashurst. And once you go through Ashurst, we're going to continue straight up to the Pahongana Valley. A few K down the road, I think it's about 10K, we turn right onto Pahongana Valley East Road, and we take that up to the second bridge over the Pahongana River, and this one is called the Puripuri Bridge. It's a one-way bridge, and if it's getting dark at this time, just do the best you can to try and get the bridge sign on your photo. Right, leg 7, continue on that Pahongana Valley East Road, and when we come out, I think it's Orua Road or something like that, we turn right, and it's going to bring us out at Mangaweka. Now, your mapping software might say or try and tell you that Orua Road is unsealed, but it is all sealed. Once we get out to Mangaweka, we're on State Highway 1. We're turning right, and we're going to head north via Taihape, Wairau to Turangi, and turn left on State Highway 41, go across to Kuratau Junction, and then we're going up the Western Lake Road. And we're taking this just short of Wakamaru to Poihipi Road, and the checkpoint is just the road, the big road signs on the left of the road. Right, checkpoint 8. We're taking Poihipi Road back to Taupo. And once you get into Taupo, make your way to State Highway 5. And we're going to take that across to Bayview, turn left and head north on State Highway 2, and take that to the checkpoint at Z Wairoa. Z Wairoa will be 24-hour fuel, and most of you will probably want to use that. From there, we continue heading up to almost to Gisborne, and then we're going to take the Waiaka Gorge across to Opotiki. The checkpoint in Opotiki is the 24-hour Caltex, and the ride instructions are fairly clear on where that is located. From Opotiki, we're on to the second to last leg, and so we continue on State Highway 2 through Taniatua, across past the lakes and down past Rotorua. And then as we head south out of Rotorua, we turn right onto State Highway 30, take that across to State Highway 1 at Atiamuri, turn left or south, and then we're going to turn right again to get back onto State Highway 30 to cross to Wakamaru, and checkpoint 10 is at the Gaz Wakamaru. Right, the last leg, we want to take the Western Lake Road south down to State Highway 41 at Kuratau Junction, turn left, go via Tukanu, and head back to Turangi and to the holiday park. All right, so as I mentioned, the fuel spots are 24-hour fuel is noted on the release, and roads to watch. The Gentle Annie will have grit, potholes, could be slick if it's wet. Route 52 has its share of grit, roadworks, slumping, goat tracks, you name it. The track might be places in there, I haven't been over that for a while, but generally you've got to take care for grit. But the rest of the route should be reasonably good. The Waiaka Gorge can be a bit slicky if it's wet, but I think the weather forecast is good. This route, it should be easily cut out in the sort of 20-ish hours. And so good luck and good riding.